Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This time, so far at this point, we've talked about different data types. We've kind of gone over integers, we've talked about doubles. This time we're going to talk about booleans in this video. So we're going to create a new project, and this new project will be, what we're going to do is use a toggle button. So there's probably been a ton of different websites. So if you have an iPhone, which probably most of us do, you actually, let me see if I get an example here. 1 second. Let me find something. All right, so I actually have an example. So if you see my phone here, you're not going to be able to see it because of the thing. But if you go into, say, your settings and stuff like that, there's something called Do Not Disturb, and it's a toggle mode. So I have Do Not Disturb, which I'm not sure if you can see that on the screen or not, probably not. But nonetheless, we're kind of going to go over these toggle buttons and how to put them in your application. So the application is, what's nice about this application allows you basically the value equals true or false. So we're going to talk about when you want to use a Boolean expression, when you want it to be in your application. So if you're turning something on, so if you've ever flown before and they tell you go ahead and put airplane mode on, and if you have the iPhone, you click the button, it's just a toggle button. It just makes sure if it's on, that means it's true. If it's off, it's equals false. So that's what we're going to kind of go over today in this episode. So let's, or this video, sorry. Let's go ahead and switch back over. All right, so what I'm going to do here is find my cursor. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do single view app and make sure I have iOS selected. And I'm going to call this iOS app, and I'll just call it, what do we say, Boolean. Well, we'll call it no, I'll put toggle button. Alright, so I'll keep everything in this, Objective C, hit next. I'll just hit create. Alright, enable login account, I don't care about that. Alright, so H and M, so we'll start off. In this essence, we have to start off and, you know, like we did with everything else, and give us some type of value and so forth. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, where am I at? Alright, so let's get this started. So what we're going to do differently is let's go over to our storyboard, and we will move this up a little bit here. I don't know what that's there. That's from before, but it's using a different simulator, so let me close that out. Right, just got both of them. Alright, no big deal. Alright, so let's move this up a little bit. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a button. So let's find buttons. Here we go. Drag a button up here somewhere. Center it out. Where's my center at? Let's put a button here. We don't want to call it. I'll put submit. Alright, make it a little bigger. Nothing bad. Alright, so let's find the toggle switch. If I can find that out right here. It's called switch. So then I'll put it like right here. Make that bigger. So you can come over here to the font size and increase the font if you want. You can change the type of value. So we'll say I'll just keep it a system for now. Yeah, so we'll keep that. Now, let's see, let's go to button here if I can figure this out. Where it's at. Okay, here's what I'm looking for. So the button has different states: highlight, select, enable. So the one that we're going to talk about today is enable. So if you've ever gone to a website and you try to click on that button, the button's disabled. That is what enable means true. If it equals true, it means that it's shown. If it equals false, then it's kind of grayed out and you can't click on it. Same thing with this. With the toggle switch, if it's showing green in this case, that means that it's enabled and equals true. If it's not showing and it's kind of grayed out, it equals false. So in case you've ever seen that, that's what that means. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and click the little Olympic guy here. Find our header. We don't want to be there. Alright, and what we're going to do here is create some more room, first of all, because I got no room. Move around in here. He's all crammed up. Alright, so what we're going to do is do what we did. We're just going to drag these objects over here. So I'm going to control click and create something from a button. Just throw it in there. I will call it button. Actually, yeah, I'll just call it BTN submit, because we just a button submit. All right, so it puts it there, and then we need this toggle switch here. I'll control click. We learned that we want to put it in here. I'll call it my switch. Pretty awesome. And hit connect, and it should throw it in there. Perfect. So we know that we have the two properties are like that. So now we could click on this. Now we could go over to the view H controller. So now we have two of these controllers there, how we want them. Next thing that we need to do is come up to the view controller UI. We need to add our, which I don't know why they took this out. In previous versions, it would automatically add it. So we add our curly braces, and now we'll declare our Boolean values. So we'll come down here and say bool. We'll talk about why you want to use bool versus Boolean in the future, but for right now we'll do bool, and I'll call the first one well, I want to keep it app oriented or whatever. We'll say the app is called toggle button, so we'll say app constraint 1, and then I'll do bool, and then I'll do app constraint 2. So nothing pretty crazy about it. So we have our two values here. We have them select up and that and so forth. So now we want to sorry, losing my mind. We want to now go over to our .m, our main page. Sorry. So we want to come into our view did load. This guy right here. I don't like that there. I'm just going to take it off. Perfect. All right, so now we need to assign a value. So, we called it, I already forgot what I called it. Jeez, app constraint. So we'll say app constraint, the first one. We'll say that this equals no. So you notice how it has uppercase. So in this case, it has to be uppercase, 100%. So you could have yes or no. So I could come in here and type in yes or no. All right, so I'll have, in this case, I will just put no. Oh, jeez. All right, there we go. And what we want to do is we want to program, I have a bug flying around here. I want to program my switch to be on equals bool. So what we could do here is we could do self dot the name of your switch. I call it my switch, and then we could do dot on equals. You could put yes or no, but I'm gonna say it equals bool1. So whatever, not bool1. What the heck is it called? App constraint 1. So whatever that value is, it equals that. So whatever you put for this value here is, value for toggle button. And this right here is assigning the value to the toggle button, toggle switch. All right, so let's see if this actually works. All right, it's compiling. All right, so it succeeded. So let's see what happens now. It's going to take a second or two because Now I have to launch the simulator and my computer's thinking about it. Oh, there she is. All right, perfect. All right, so you see how it allows me to click it on like that? So let's say, all right, because you see how it's like this? We have no, so that means it's off. So it's gonna look like this. So let's go and change this to yes. Alrighty, and run it again. It's gonna ask me to stop, but sure. Reloading it, it's on. Because we changed the value to yes, so that button is automatically on. So let me show you something else that we could do. Now, let's say that we didn't want to use this predetermined value. Well, we could just come here and let's say no, right? We want to, this right here is called a hard code. So right now we have no. It's going to bypass what value you have selected here, and it should be no. So you have two different options. It's best to use one of these guys here. Something like that is probably the best thing to do. Allows you to, you know, so forth. So now let's add the button constraint. So let's actually go, well, we'll just keep it. You know what? Let's go back and be a little picky here. So I call it app constraint 1. So we'll call it toggle property. I think that's a better word, toggle property. And then I'll call this button property. Maybe button property value. Okay. And we'll have to go back to the main and change this around a little bit. All right, yeah. So we'll call this, because app constraint 1 doesn't exist. This is the toggle property value equals yes. And I will copy and paste that here so it knows what I'm talking about. All right, great. And then I'm going to do button property value. And I'm going to say equals for the first time around. Let's say false. So now we're going to use a true or false value. So I'm going to say false. And I'm going to come down here and do self. Name of my button. I think I call it submit button. Let's see, button submit. There we go. Dot. Let's see here. Button dot enabled. And then we could put equals whatever that property is. So that's the property value. All right. All right. Expected identifier. What was that there? All right, there we go. All right, so let's see what happens. Let's run it. Yeah. All right, so notice how the button is grayed out and I can't click on it because I have it set to false. Now, and it'll allow me to click this, no problem, but the button is selected like that. So let's go back and set it to true and rerun it. Yep. Look at that. You're able to click on it. Nothing happens because we didn't talk about action events yet, and this guy right here is fine. So in a nutshell, that right there is a little explanation of Booleans. So hopefully in this video you learned how Booleans work, the importance of it, why you want to have it. Now that's just that's a small dose of what I provided you today. Well, once we start talking about conditional statements like switch statements and if and else conditions, then we will be able to do a lot more with those buttons and so forth. So thanks for watching. You know how to reach me. Next up, we'll talk about a different type of data type. Good day.